Now, Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook have probably been the two best running backs this season. And they both are just 10 yards away from each other in terms of rushing. And while Derrick Henry has the lead, Dalvin Cook has a much easier schedule. And this is definitely a battle for who can get more rushing yards this season. What is going on, guys? Ativ here. And in this video, I'll be talking about who I think will be getting more rushing yards this season, Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook. Now, if we look at the stats here, right? Derrick Henry, he has 1,079 yards, and he's averaging 4.7 yards per carry, right? And, I mean, he has 1,079 yards, and let's not forget, he has 9 touchdowns as well rushing. But then, if you look at Dalvin Cook, he has 1,069 yards with 13 rushing touchdowns. And Dalvin Cook is leading the NFL in touchdowns in general. But I do think that, honestly, Dalvin Cook will be the yards leader for the NFL this season. And by the way, let's not forget how Dalvin Cook was injured. And if Dalvin Cook wasn't injured, in my eyes, he would undoubtedly be the yards leader. But since he was injured, what can you do, you know? But here are the reasons I think Dalvin Cook will be the yards leader. So, first of all, let's look at the stats. He's averaging 5.3 yards per carry, while Derrick Henry is averaging 4.7 yards per carry, right? And, I mean, that's a 0.6 yards difference, which is quite a bit. And then, if we go to the schedule, Dalvin Cook's schedule, he has to play the Panthers, the Jaguars, the Buccaneers, the Bears, the Saints, and the Lions. If we look at it here, I think that he'll have a feast against the Panthers and the Jaguars. But then when he goes to the Buccaneers, I think they will be able to slow him down because they have arguably the best run defense in the NFL. He didn't have the greatest game against the Bears last time, but this is a rivalry, let's not forget. And I think that he will want revenge. So I think he might go off versus the Bears. He's going to play the Saints, which the Saints' defense is so inconsistent, so I have no clue. He could either go off, or the Saints could hold him to a very small amount of rushing yards. And then he's playing the Lions, where he's probably going to go off. And then we look at Derrick Henry, right? And Derrick Henry, he has to play the Colts, where, I mean, they have a really, really good defense, arguably the best front seven in the NFL, so I don't think he'll do too good there. But then he has to play the Browns, which he'll probably go off. He has to play the Jaguars, which I think he'll go off there. He has to play the Lions, where he might go off, he might not. I mean, the Lions are kind of inconsistent. He has to play the Packers and Texans, and I feel like since it's a rivalry game versus the Texans, they're going to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry a bunch. And, I mean, who knows what he's going to do. And then versus the Packers, I don't know, bro. Like, the Packers really need wins right now. But I think he could go off and he could not. So you probably did hear me say Derrick Henry's going to go off more. But, I mean, that's just maybe, right? And anyways, Dalvin Cook, I mean, this guy's just... Let's be real here. I think Dalvin Cook will be getting the ball more because on the roster, the Vikings, they have Adam Thielen, right? And the Titans, they have AJ Brown. And I do think Adam Thielen is better, but I do think that the Vikings are trying to rely more on Dalvin Cook, which is partly the reason why I think that he will have more yards. Because I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure he has more carries. Oh wait, I can see right here. So, I believe Dalvin Cook has 201 carries, while Derrick Henry has 229. So, surprisingly, Derrick Henry has more carries, but Dalvin Cook is more efficient. And honestly, I might actually change my mind right now. Derrick Henry could get more rushing yards, because he's such a big guy, of course, and I mean, they both rely on athleticism big time, but they rely on their athleticism in very different ways. While Derrick Henry relies on his strength, Dalvin Cook relies on his speed and his agility, I guess you could say, and his shiftiness. So, I think that Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry, I mean, this isn't what I'm trying to talk about here, but they won't be able to play for too long of a time because they're running backs, and running backs usually don't play for a long time, except if you're Frank Gore because you're a beast. But anyways, Derrick Henry, I could see him being the yards leader, right? And by the way, they will both undoubtedly be the leader in one or the other category. Like Dalvin Cook, will either be the leader in both the touchdowns or yards, or he'll just be the leader in the touchdowns, I feel like. And Derrick Henry, I mean, if you're looking at scrimmage touchdowns, Dalvin Cook, I believe, has 14, 13 rushing and 1 receiving. But Derrick Henry, I'm pretty sure he just had 9 scrimmage touchdowns, because they're all rushing. But I don't see Derrick Henry catching up to Dalvin Cook in terms of rushing touchdowns. And I don't think but, I mean, look at this. Derrick Henry has had 2 100-yard games in a row. He had that 200-yard game versus the Texans, where we all remember, where he clutched up big time. And I'm pretty sure he has 2 game-winning touchdowns already. And then Dalvin Cook, I mean, he had that 200-yard game versus the Lions, which was absolutely insane. And then I thought he had a 4-touchdown game. Maybe he had a 4-touchdown game versus the Packers. 3 rushing and 1 receiving. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. But I do think that Derrick Henry got off to a hotter start because his first game of the season was a 100-yard game, while Dalvin Cook didn't have a 100-yard game till his 3rd game. Although that game, he did go off with 181. And if we're looking at confidence, I think that Derrick Henry might have more confidence solely because of the fact that the Titans are probably going to make the playoffs. And I'm not sure on the Vikings right now. Like, they're really weird. I feel like because they've won 4 in a row. And then, I mean, who knows how they're going to do. Because, wait, did they? I'm pretty sure they've won 4 in a row. But that's not the point. The point is, Derrick Henry could get more rushing yards because of the amount of times he's already gone off. And he could go off again because of his schedule. I think that his schedule, while it's not easier, I think that the Titans will have to rely more on Derrick Henry. And they will give him the ball more and he will get more yards. But don't get me wrong, I do see Dalvin Cook getting more yards, and I do see where you're coming from if you think that Dalvin Cook will have the rushing title. But it would be crazy, like Derrick Henry being the rushing yards leader twice in a row. I mean, this guy's really developing into a star. This is going to be his 3rd 1,000-yard season. Well, he already had 1,000 yards, which is just insane to think about. But, I mean, he's a tank, and I believe that the NFL, don't ever listen to their top 100 rankings, but I believe 2 seasons ago when he got, like, barely 1,000 yards, what did he get? 1,059. He was still in the top 100. And he had 12 touchdowns that season, which is really surprising. So Derrick Henry is really good at touchdowns. He was obviously tied with Aaron Jones last season for the most rushing. But Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry, I think that though they're the top 2 running backs undoubtedly, I think that is interchangeable. And I think that even if Derrick Henry gets more rushing yards than Dalvin Cook, which my answer to the title is Derrick Henry, I think that Dalvin Cook will still be the better running back this season, just because he was injured. He's averaging more yards per game, and he's averaging more yards per carry, and he can do both. He can rush and receive, you know. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure Derrick Henry has 10, because I'm pretty sure he got that game-winning receiving touchdown. Like, I think it was 62 yards, but no quote me on that, because I'm not sure about that. But Derrick Henry is my answer. Just tell me your answer in the comments below. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.